This is lesson 3.3 of our Pre-Calc 12 class. Unit 3 is called Trigonometry. Lesson 3 is called the unit circle. Alright, what we're going to do in this lesson is explore the unit circle with some more depth. I'm brushing the dust off of my camera because I'm OCD. Alright, exploring the unit circle in some more depth, and then getting familiar with some key benchmarks of the unit circle in radians. So, as we know before, we could take the unit circle, cut it into right angle chunks, 0 to 90, or 0 to 2 pi. 0 to pi over 2, pi over 2 to pi, pi to 3 pi over 2, and 3 pi over 2 back to, to 2 pi, which is back to 0. Those are our important benchmarks for the unit circle. If I cut each of those in half, we get 4 more benchmarks. Half of 90 is a 45-degree increment. So if we go by 45-degree increments, we get 4 more benchmarks. We get pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, and 7 pi over 4. Notice that all of these can be represented as something pi over 4. We got 0 pi over 4, 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3, 4, 5, 6 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4, and 8 pi over 4. Just some of those can be reduced. Okay, some more benchmarks. Instead of cutting it in chunks of 45 degrees, if we cut it in chunks of 30 degrees, good stretch. If we cut it in chunks of 30 degrees, we get the rest of our benchmarks. 30 degrees is pi over 6. So really we can just count by something pi over 6. 0 pi over 6, 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, which is a fraction we can reduce to pi over 3, because 2/6 is 1/3. 2 pi over 6, 3 pi over 6, also a fraction we can reduce. 4 pi over 6, reducible. 5 pi over 6, not reducible. 6 pi over 6, 7, 8 pi over 6, 9 pi over 6, 10 pi over 6, 11 pi over 6, and 12 pi over 6. Notice there's a pattern. The ones that are not reducible are on this horizontal line and this horizontal line, or the ones really close to the x-axis. The ones really close to the y-axis, these vertical lines, can be reduced to a fraction with the denominator of 3. And then on the y-axis, we have fractions that can be reduced to a fraction with a denominator of 2, see 2 on the bottom? And on the x-axis, we have fractions that have no denominators. It's just 1 and 2. A pattern. Okay, we take the 45-degree increments and the 30-degree increments, and we put them on the same unit circle, and then we now have a unit circle with all of our benchmarks in radians in one place. So this is our unit circle that we're going to work with for now. If we were in class, we would do an activity to memorize this. And it's really important. This unit circle chart in trigonometry is like learning your times tables in grade 5. The better you know it, the easier trigonometry is going to be. If you don't know any of this, and if you, and we're going to teach you what each of these means and how to get them, how to work with them. But if you don't know this starting point, trigonometry is going to be very confusing. The more you can get to a place of quick recall with these, the easier this unit's going to be. So an activity we did is we say, okay, write everything down that you see on here. And then I'm going to go fast, but if you want to do this, feel free to pause the video multiple times, pause and play. Write everything down, pause the video and write it all down, and then check and see how you did. If you have to look at the screen every time you write, that's totally fine at this point. And then we're going to move on. Okay, turn your paper over and try it again. Write it just like you wrote it before, but I'm taking some of the hints away. Go ahead and pause the video and try that out. All right, new piece of paper. Do the unit circle again. Pause the video. All right, flip your paper over. Try it again for the 4th time. Draw out the unit circle. All right, new piece of paper. Unit circle again. All right, for the 6th time, flip the paper over. Do it again. Between each drawing, say them out loud. See if you can do it verbally or audibly. New piece of paper, round 7. Do it again. Pause video. Round 8. Do it again. Pause video. Round 9. New piece of paper. Round 10. Flip it over. I hope you're pausing the video. Round 11. New piece of paper. Round 12. Flip the paper over. Oh, why all this paper? Because your math education's worth it. And we also want to keep those lumberjacks employed. Round 13. Flip it over, round 14. All right, 15. And on the back side of this last piece of paper, you're on paper number 8 so far. No cheat sheet. Pause the video, write down the unit circle. If you pause the video every time and you follow through with that, I guarantee that you'll have a better grasp of where the benchmarks are on the unit circle in radians, because that's how the human brain works. If you learn something once, or you engage with a math concept once, it's like drawing a little track in your brain. So if you imagine going on a hike on an unpathed trail in the woods, it's not going to leave much of a mark, and the next day no one's going to be able to see any footprints or know that you were there. If you cross the same path the second day, there's going to be a little bit more footprint, but if you cross the same path every day for a few weeks, eventually there's going to be a little game trail there. And you do it every day for a year, then you now have a paved path on your brain that's going to remember what you've learned and practice every day, and it's never going to go away. It's the same thing with prayer, Bible memory. If you read a scripture once, there's not going to be much of a path left in your brain. If you read it every day for a year, there's going to be a path there. You're never going to forget it. In fact, you won't be able to get it out of your head. Hopefully we have the same response with math in this activity. The power of habit is huge. So hopefully you're more familiarized with the common radians and degrees on the unit circle, our benchmarks, and we're going to use those in future lessons. Now we are ready to start looking at our trig functions again. We'll do that in the next lesson.